Okay, what's up, guys? How are you guys doing? I'm doing well. I'm excited. I woke up today with some great energy, and I'm ready to get this whole entire presentation presented to you guys. So, a little bit about myself. My name is Brandon Smith. I'm part of the LSUA community. Currently, I'm doing a research proposal in my Psychology 4017 class. And it's been about 8 months in the making of this research proposal. So right now, I'm excited to present you guys this information which I have found. Today, we're talking about the gender wage gap. This is a commonly talked about subject between males and females in the United States and across the world. I think equality is very important. I'm for equality, and I want every woman to be paid a dollar for every dollar which a man is paid. Current research shows that for every dollar a man gets, a woman's getting paid around 80 cents. So it's not equal at all, according to research, but I want to actually make sure this is true because there's been debates whether the gender wage gap is true or whether it's not. So this research proposal is really to help you guys understand more about the gender wage gap, and hopefully you guys can come to a conclusion yourself to see if it's true or not. So guys, the gender wage gap is a well-documented phenomenon, but little research has been done to examine the relationship between degree choice and the wage gap. Previous studies have found that women are more likely to choose lower paying fields such as liberal arts, while men are more likely to choose higher paying fields such as STEM. However, the reasons for these gender differences in degree choice are not well understood. So in this PowerPoint, I'm aiming to investigate whether there is a correlation between gender and degree choice and how this relates to the wage gap. I hypothesize that there may be gender differences in degree choice that contribute to the wage gap. I predict that men are more likely to choose higher paying fields, and women are more likely to choose lower paying fields. So before I actually started this essay, I had to do a bunch of research just to get a little bit more information about the gender wage gap as a whole, and actually came to a few research articles and a few conclusions from these research articles. The first one is research shows that men and women brains are wired different. Men and women are differ in their skills and abilities. So that's one factual statement stated by Goldman. Another thing is the XY chromosome differences play a role in men and women choosing their degree path, according to the U.S. Department of Health and Services. Another thing is men are dominating higher paying college majors such as STEM fields, while women are dominating lower paying majors such as liberal arts by Carmichael. Another thing is women tend to stay away from STEM fields due to peer pressure, lack of role models, and misconceptions about the career path. Another thing is STEM majors tend to see upwards of six figures. Or a higher median wages, while non-STEM degrees have a average pay of around 55,260. So this is kind of where I'm getting the idea that since women are going into non-STEM fields, maybe they're more likely to get paid less, and this could be the reason why how the wage gap is actually calculated. It could be the reason why there's this 86 or 80 cents to the dollar difference of what men go into. Could the degree choice be a reason why women are getting paid less than men? In this research proposal, we're actually going to find out. So you might be asking, how am I going to figure out if women are getting paid less than men based on degree path? Well, right in this slide, I'm going to explain how I'm going to formulate my ideas and get to the conclusion of what you guys will see later on in this presentation. This research study will be a simple questionnaire. I will give informed consent documents to the participants about the risks of the study and then provide them with a questionnaire. This questionnaire will give me all the data I need to correctly determine if the differences in men and women's degree choices strongly influence whether this correlates to the wage gap. The questions I will ask will include, are you male or female? What semester of college are you currently in? Is your degree considered STEM or other? And what do you think you will make in the next 5 years into your work? And these will all be multiple choice questions, either yes, no, A, B, C, D. Right below this, it shows the steps that I'm doing. So I'm creating a link. I will actually put it in the YouTube video description if you guys want to check it out. Maybe you guys can go ahead and answer some questions yourself to see if the study changes. I will email it to LSUA students, so my classmates, a part of my 4017 class. I will gather the data, and then from this data, I will get a conclusion to present to you guys in this PowerPoint. So here are the results which I actually gathered from the questionnaire which I gave out to my classmates. We actually had 10 participants. In the first question, are you male or female? We actually had 8 females and we had 2 males. Second one right here, is your degree considered STEM or other? We actually had 6 choose other and 4 choose STEM. Of the 4 STEM were 2 males. So we had 100% choose STEM, and the other 2 STEM were females, and the other 6 of the other were females. And the next question I asked, how much money do you expect to earn in 5 years after completing your studies? I generally wanted to ask this question because I think this is a great way to determine how much money you're making. I think it's important to have a good mindset going into whatever job you go into with a certain determination of what type of money you're going to make, so you'll actually make that. And we actually had some interesting results from this question specifically. But of all of this data, you can see, I'm just going to tell you the males real quick. We had one male which said 100,000, and we had a male say 50,000, and the rest were all females. The other 8, everything else in there were females. The last thing, it was just a question I just wanted to ask for the heck of it, is what semester of college are you in? We had 9 say they were seniors and 1 say they were junior. I was expecting this because a 40,000 class in LSUA is typically a senior class. So here we come to the fun part, the results of the study, guys. So for this research study, the study consisted of males and females who were part of my psychology 4017 class. There are 10 adults, 8 were females, 2 were males. Who participated in the study. 9 of the participants were seniors and 1 of the participants were juniors. For the question of this data set to determine if women are going to lower paying jobs, I asked the question, is your degree considered STEM or other? My hypothesis for this data question was that women would choose more non-STEM degrees, while men would choose more STEM-related jobs. Of the 10 participants, 6 women chose non-STEM, while 2 men and 2 women chose STEM. For the second question of the data set, to determine whether each gender should be paid, I asked the question, what do you think you will make in the next 5 years of work? My hypothesis was that men on average would expect to make more money than women. The 10 participants, 2 said that they would make 40,000, which were females. 1 said 50,000, which was male. 3 said 60,000, which were females. 2 said 70,000, which were females, and 2 said 100,000, 1 of which was a male, 1 of which was a female. The average expected salary for males was $75,000, while the average expected salary for females was $62.5 thousand. So, as the data showed, 75% of women chose more non-STEM degrees, while 100% of men chose higher-paying STEM degrees. This seemed to align with previous data from census.gov, which is a government website which collects data on different types of topics, in this case, degrees of which men and women go into. It stated that 27% of women dominate the STEM field, which is pretty accurate with the data which I collected. On average, non-STEM jobs paid $55,260, while STEM jobs paid $100,900. With this data, it can be argued that the wage gap is a result from biological factors rather than a bias towards women. The reason why I say this is because women are choosing non-STEM degrees while men are choosing more STEM degrees, and I mean correlating this to the amount of pay which men are receiving is going to be more, and the pay which women are receiving, which is less. And it's a question which could be still research more on why are women actually choosing non-STEM degrees rather than STEM fields, and why are men choosing more STEM fields rather than non-STEM fields. This is a question which needs further research, of course. For the second question, I asked both men and women how much they expect to earn after 5 years. As I said, I think it's important to understand your mentality going into a certain job. If you have a high expectation, like you want to be a millionaire, you're probably going to become a millionaire. If you expect you're not going to make that much money, you're probably not going to make that much money. So it's good to judge mentality. And that's what I hope to do from this question. The results show that women expected to be paid less, 13.5% on average, which is actually pretty shocking. A woman make 83 cents on the dollar compared to men, which is confirmed by the results of the study. And the study actually averaged the salaries of which women and men chose. So, over that, of the 8 women which were in the study, I added up all their scores and I divided it by 8. Same with men, added up their 2 scores, divided it by 2 to get the average. The average expected salary for women was $62.5 thousand dollars, and I divided it by the average of the men, which was again $75,000, and this actually equaled exactly 83.3 cents on the dollar, which is exactly what she said. This data indicates that women believe that they should be paid less than men, while men believe they should be paid more. So, overall, in conclusion, based on this data presented above, I think that the wage gap is not based on prejudice, but rather on biological factors. This study was a great opportunity for me to uncover the commonly discussed subject of today, which is the gender wage gap. It is an important subject to talk about because equality is just, and no woman should earn less than a man because they're simply being a woman. In the test, I believe that the sample size was too small. Of course, we had only 8 females, 2 males, which I think we could have had a bigger set to determine more accuracy, get a more accurate feel on that. And the data could have been skewed because the majority of participants were female, according to, I didn't put this in here, but I think it's 52 females to males on average in the world. So if we can get around that with the study, it would probably be more accurate. For example, maybe like around 100 people or more, if we could. That'd be really great. Again, the link to this data is going to be in my description, so you guys can click it. Actually, go ahead and see if you guys want to take the test too, so we can actually get a more accurate feel for it. Additionally, I think there are more questions could have been asked, and more men should have been involved in the study to make this data more accurate. And that, the study should be called for further research. Again, there's many things which need to do further research. But finally, I think I could have made a more formatical approach to determining the wage gap to make this data more precise. Yep. So overall, that's the information which I got from this wage gap. You guys can make your own formatical conclusions about what you think about the wage gap. Hopefully you guys can put it in the comments in this YouTube video or other, yeah. So these are the references from the resources which I took. You guys can take a look through them if you want to make your own formatical research and actually come to your own conclusion. And yeah, I appreciate you guys watching this video. That has been in the making for almost 8 months. So it's great to actually present it now. And I appreciate your guys' time. I want you guys to have an amazing day, and peace out.